Hello, veterinary friends. Welcome to the Veterinary Life Coach podcast. Today, I have a lovely guest for you that I'm very excited to talk to. Her name is Tricia Montgomery. She is the founder of Moose's March, a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to early detection of pet cancer and providing support and resources for pets and their parents. And I just learned that she has many veterinary connections. So I'm really excited to hear about it. Welcome to the podcast, Tricia.
Oh, thank you so much
Nice
for
to meet you. I'm excited.
Nice to meet you as well. And I will say from the get-go, this is very hard for me to call you Julie, as opposed to calling you doctor. I learned very early on from a lovely woman by the name of Eve LaRocca and her daughter, Kate Shamrazadi, that you never call a veterinarian by their first name. You address them by, the respect that they're due. So I am learning. That is also the days that I think that it was instructed that you were pantyhose as well. So, but that is for the years.
I never get too hung up on the doctor title. I just, I like it, but I'm okay without it. So Julie's great. I always ask my guests to tell me their veterinary story. And since you just told me you have a veterinary story, I'm going to ask you that to start wherever you want to start and tell me all the things.
Sure. Thank you so much. First of all, my honor to be with you today on this in this beautiful podcast. What you do is amazing, and thankful for the opportunity.
Thank you.
I'm Tricia Montgomery. I got started within the veterinary profession a long time ago, probably going back about 30 years, 1993. And I was taken, I'm going to say, under the wing by a beautiful veterinarian by the name of Dr. Glenn Mayer out of Chicago, Illinois. And he was actually the public education director, on the public education committee for the Chicago Veterinary Medical Association. And he just said, "I think you'd be really good at this. And would you do this?" And I vied for it, and I became their public education director in October of 1993. And then I went on to serve as public education director, and then I went on to serve as executive director and public education director until 2008 with the Chicago Veterinary Medical Association, and such great respect for the profession. And they are my family. And when I first started with the organization, I think they had 900 or so veterinarians. When I left, they had over 1,600 veterinarians. And just seeing where things were at that time, that was in 1993 when people were debating what size of ad they had for the phone book.
Yeah, phone book ads. I forgot all about that.
Whether you're going to have a quarter page ad.
I remember having phone book ads.
And and looking at things and seeing, and that was also the time, late 90s, when PetSmart first came on, and a lot of these larger box or the larger veterinary clinics were coming aboard. Right. And it was an interesting time, and to see right now where we are, where we've gone, and to still be part of the veterinary profession in that aspect, and see where everything has really led to, the strides that have been made in the veterinary profession, and the specialties, and we really didn't see a lot of that in the early years. And I think now you see so much of that, and just the specialties and where they've gone, and even with life coaching, because there is indeed a mental health crisis in the veterinary profession, and they need that. They really need that, and just beautiful respect to them. And I wouldn't be where I am today without the mentorship and guidance of beautiful people along the way. And my family is that. I then went on to start Canine Fit Clubs. It was based upon my own personal journey of losing weight with my dog. I used to weigh about 275 pounds. And I created science-based program, not I, but we created science-based programs for people and dogs across the country. I worked with an incredible team like Dr. Ernie Ward, Association of Pet Obesity Prevention, Dr. Joe Vargas, Dr. David Levy, University of Tennessee, Dr. Daryl Mellis, because we were looking at parallel programs for both people and their pets, and then looking at the correlation between obesity and between humans and their pets, and how obesity goes up and down the leash. And it's very interesting when you look at that we as a nation have gotten, have gotten obese and or unhealthy, and our dogs have gotten obese right beside us. And that oftentimes when we think about exercising, we won't, if you're unhealthy, you won't go to a gym by yourself, because like me, when I was overweight, you're afraid of being made fun of. And that dog provided the comfort and the care and the security. And people loved that they lost weight and got healthier. It wasn't really a question of, although people lost weight, it was a question of just getting healthy and bonding together and doing it in a science-based way, and exercising parallel to your pup. We have programs like Namaste Stay, Pup Pilates, Bow Wow Boot Camp, Begging for
Now, was it
Beginners.
actual physical building? Like,
It
did you have people come into a building with their dog? Oh, that's cool.
We did. We had
Fun.
at the height of we had about 80 locations across the US and Canada. We had a flagship location in St. Louis. We actually were one of the recipients of the Pet Care Innovation Prize when it first started in 2016. Because of the correlation between humans and canines and losing weight and getting healthy with your dog. So yes, actual locations. Incredible time. We were before our time, and so proud to have been part of that movement and sharing that health, fitness, and wellness journey. We were in the process of selling Canine Fit Club and doing different things with it. And then I realized in my journey, I had served in the veterinary profession. I'd been part of health and wellness. I'd been on both sides of that for, crossing two industries between health and wellness and the veterinary profession and canines. And I really wanted to go into animal welfare. And I got called to serve at Paws Humane Society in Columbus, Georgia. And that was right before December of 2019, before the pandemic started. And went in with beautiful plans. At that time, they didn't really understand about the importance of having a veterinary practice on board or within their organization. I went on to hire 3 veterinarians and turn veterinary practice around, as well as that organization. We created incredible programs where we went into underserved communities and we helped pets and people, and especially during that time, the ability for funding as well as supplies and food. And it was difficult at best, and very proud of that. And taught me a lot about compassion fatigue, taught me much about how the crisis in animal welfare is happening right now. And looking at the veterinary profession as a whole, and talking about kindness and respect and being treated as such. I left in January of 22, and then I've worked with a number of organizations, but during the pandemic, the height of it, on my birthday of March 29th, I actually adopted Moose. And he was pulled from Columbus Animal Care and Control from Paws. And he had been chained outside, and he was a hot mess. His legs were cattywampus. He was heartworm positive. He walked with that swagger. He was a bully mix, and he was a low rider. But I've never had a dog touch me the way that Moose, brought out my heart. He was with me day and night. I was in Columbus, Georgia. I really didn't know a soul when I went there. And as you know, being a CEO of an organization, making friends, especially at the height, it's difficult at best.
Right.
And he was just with me. He was the mascot. And I believe the things that he taught me so much were that pets are necessary for everyone, no matter your income level, no matter how you look, how you dress, that what they bring to us from a human animal bond perspective, and not just health and wellness and making us live longer, happier, healthier lives, but just from a perspective of love and unconditional love, and how everyone needs that and is deserving of such. He passed away in May of 2022. Not going to try to get emotional here. And it broke.
That's not that long ago.
It did. It broke my heart. And I have had many dogs in my life. Before there was a moose, there was a Zeus who passed away of Cushing's, and I had my dog Louie that I lost weight with, and other dogs throughout my time. But Moose impacted my life, and I say he was really my heart walking outside my body, although my son and my daughter would probably shoot me for saying that.
Yeah, they're not gonna like that.
They never do, but it's the truth.
Right.
But it was. And when my father had passed away of cancer 2 years before, my mom had passed away in 21, and so it was like a 1, 2, 3 hit. And I remember that just the grief just knocking me down. And I remember laying on my floor in my office, and I was devastated. I didn't want to get up. I didn't know what to do. I was just, there was something that it wrecked me.
Yeah.
And I never had that happen before, Julie. Never had that happen before. I want to, thank heavens for beautiful girls by the name of Caroline Lexton and Courtney Winterstrom, who I was working with at the time, and just, picked me up, and my sister Cheryl, who just said, you can do something, get up.
It'll be okay. Yeah, it'll be okay.
It'll be okay. And out of that, I created Mrs. March. And last year, it was basically just a program that we were helping people. We raised $12,500 in honor of people with pet cancer, and worked with different universities like Auburn University and people such as that, and helped out people who needed help for cancer and their pets. And then this year, we have officially become a 501c3 organization. And we are working with an incredible organization called Volition Veterinary regarding early detection of pet cancer, working with shelters across the nation, and working with pets and people, and really educating people on awareness of pet cancer, and having an open and honest discussion about pet cancer. There are times that people don't know what to do. Where do they turn? Who do they go to? The bridge for a veterinarian, and that pet owner, where do you go? We're having a beautiful webinar coming up on November the 2nd. It's going to be moderated by Steve Dale. Dr. Thomas Butera is going to be part of it, CEO of Volition, Dr. Rebecca Timmons, Kristen Werman of Base Paws and Zoetis, and Dr. David Stansfield of Cooperative Care organization, the founder there. And I am just, I think when things come together, they're meant to come together. And I am incredibly grateful and blessed to even have the opportunity to do this.
Yeah, that sounds like a great mission. So this webinar that you're doing is for pet parents to teach them about cancer detection. Explain that to me a little bit more.
Sure. Well, the webinar is actually open to anyone. So it's open to pet parents, to veterinary technicians, and to veterinarians alike.
Gotcha.
It's really going to be, people can send in their questions and answers before the webinar starts. It is going to be an open discussion. We're going to be talking to pet owners. We're going to be talking to veterinarians. Cooperative care actually helps bridge the gap between the practitioner and the pet owner. And how do you talk about things? Talking about early detection, talking about what happens when there is a diagnosis, talking about the different types of cancer, and expectations. We're talking about hope and quality of life.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't want to pull off this, because I want you to really fully teach us about this. How did you practically get it going? I mean, it sounds like you're used to getting businesses going, so it was probably easy for you, but tell people out there that have that like little spark of entrepreneurial spirit that would like to do something like you're doing. How does that happen? And then we'll go back and talk a little bit more about it.
I found people who believed, and I found people who were like-minded, and I surrounded myself with a beautiful team in every organization that I've ever been involved in, whether it was Canine Fit Club or Paws or anything else. I surround myself with a team of people who know better than me and can guide, direct better than me. I have vision, I have the knowledge, I know how to get things done. But I think when you're surrounded by a team, it is absolutely phenomenal, because they can guide. Sometimes an idea that you have may not be the one that is that you need a little direction. That's a great idea. Have you thought about this? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm a good idea person, but they don't always like follow through.
Yeah, but I also think I surrounded myself with veterinarians always. They have been my go-to, my mentors, my guidance, and my wisdom. And so with any non-for-profit, when you're starting, or with any type of an organization, whether non-for-profit or for-profit, if you're going into the pet industry, if you're going into the veterinary profession, I strongly believe in going to the source, and those that know our animals better than I could ever hope to know. And Becky Mosser from NAVTA, and just an incredible, she's a registered veterinary technician, Appalachian State College. She is just a standout, and you go to people that you trust, and people who can tell you, honestly, that's a great idea, or, go back to the drawing board.
It's been done. Try again.
Love you. And
that's a crazy idea. Yeah.
And I think it also is open to ideas, and not being so set in your ways that you don't take guidance and wisdom and constructive, not criticism, and constructive criticism and thoughts. And there's a beautiful woman, our veterinarian, Dr. Rayanne Van Pelt out of Chicago, who serves on the board for Moose's March. And we were developing taglines, and I had one, and she said, have you thought, that's great, but have you thought about this? And I'm like,
make it better.
I can make it better. And she did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think it's just relying on others, because entrepreneurs as a whole, and I know I have been at fault for this in my early days, especially of Canine Fit Club, that I thought I knew everything. I don't.
It's not true, right?
I don't. And I'm very fortunate that I've been able to rally, and it's passion and it's light, and I'm passionate about what I do and the people that I'm surrounded by, and I think that they realize that as well.
So tell me what you love about veterinarians, because veterinarians listen to me, and sometimes they're filled with imposter syndrome and self-doubt, and they feel like maybe they don't have enough to offer. And I think we sometimes forget what people that own pets think of us. We don't have that idea that we're important. So from someone from your end that's worked with many veterinarians and that has pets, what do you think about that? Like, what should veterinarians hear from people like you and other people that own pets in order to get through some of this mind junk that we have?
Yeah. Thank you. That's a beautiful question, by the way. And I think as far as imposter syndrome and self-doubt, it is within the veterinary profession, but it's inside all of us. I have to say that, especially coming from.
But I always say, everybody's got it. We think everyone else has it figured out, but they don't, right?
And especially I was very overweight, and I still at times look into the mirror and
feel like the fat person.
I'm the fat person. I just had a conversation today with one of my associates who also used to be very overweight, and you still look at the mirror and see that fat, insecure person. Then it's like, okay, you're not, and it's a daily practice that we go through. But I would say from the veterinary profession, the beauty, the empathy, the compassion, and the giving to people, and sharing. I think the veterinary profession is a veterinarian's job is one of the hardest that I've ever seen. And the reason, and this, that our animals cannot tell us what's wrong. They cannot. We rely on that pet parent to tell us what's going on. And that pet parent can be emotional. And, there's a lovely a word called anthropomorphism. And we look at that and all of a sudden it's like, well, he was limping and he was doing this and he was doing this and I don't know why he's not eating. And that is my point of view as a pet parent.
Right.
And that may be the furthest from the truth. I remember an instance go at Paws Humane Society, and I was on call that night, and we had a beautiful relationship with Rivertown Veterinary Emergency Center and Dr. Brown and Dr. Keys, and one of the fosters met me there. And the foster parent, swore up and down that he didn't know what happened and things, and he, reeked of some things. And and they and sure enough, that's what it was. And so
Right.
I think a veterinarian's job is psychologist, it is a counselor, it is a doctor, a veterinarian, it is the therapist, it is also all of the other team members. You are their mentor, you're their leader, they rely on you, they have you on this pedestal. And how do you live up to that? But no, I see all of those things. And I would say many, 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 many people see all those things in veterinarians. I think at times it must be hard. I know it's hard because I don't know of any other profession where you would go in and say, well, I don't feel like paying that fee. I'm gonna what I can pay is that, and I'm like, oh no, oh no,
not how it works, right?
Not how it works,
You don't do that at the furniture store.
Or it's
you can try, but they're not going to give it to you for free.
Or your own doctor. When would you go into your own doctor and say, listen, I'd like to negotiate about that price?
Right.
I am, being at Paws and the emotion. And during the pandemic, we were doing curbside service, and there were several occasions it was heated. Somebody pulled a gun at one time. So,
oh gosh,
yeah, there were a lot of things going on. And so I've experienced firsthand from those experiences because of the veterinary clinic. And I think people don't understand. And as I say every day, kindness, just treat people with kindness, treat people the way that you want to be treated. And I don't think they remember that. Pet parents don't remember that sometimes because they are so consumed with that. But as far as my thoughts, my love, I think my heart is always with the veterinary profession and any organization that I have consulted with, and I consult with many. My first recommendation is, have you spoken to a veterinarian? Have you spoken to somebody who can really talk about this, and having that seal of approval, or that credentialing, and that stamp on that, and that other side of the coin. I think it's so important. I also look at what's happening right now with Dr. Google and the internet, and it can be incredibly, wonderful. But AI, it can also be incredibly dangerous. And I think we have so many people on the internet right now who claim to have the knowledge. And I think you have pet owners who are relying on that. And that's a scary thing. And I can't imagine being in the veterinary profession right now and having that surrounding you.
Right. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. This is kind of another topic, but that's how my brain works.
I love that.
I know, I'm all over the place. So if you worked for a long time with a organized veterinary medicine organization, right? The Chicago VMA. What's important about those kind of organizations to veterinarians? Because I'm very passionate about organized vet med, because I've been in our local and our state and, trying to get more into the national organizations. What's important, do you think, from your perspective, about that for the veterinarians out there in the community?
I think the associations are extremely important. The reason I say that is because not only do they offer camaraderie, they also offer continuing education. They also offer different opportunities for you, whether it's bouncing ideas off of each other, whether it's an organized CEUs, an understanding, providing education and resources and things that maybe you don't have the time for. as an association, that association can actually help maybe barter a better deal, whether it's a medicine or whether it's a product that through their association, they may have that kind of power to do that. But I think on the whole, it is more of it's camaraderie, and it's being part of an association and a group that's got you, whether it's liability, whether it's just support. I think it's so extremely important to be part of a group or an association who can support you. If you have a question, from the committees, whether it's a compliance committee, whether it's public education, they're always out there on your behalf, always. And that is their primary focus.
Yeah, and most of the positions on these organized veterinary medicine boards and committees is volunteer.
Always.
So what would your advice be to someone that's out there that thinks, oh, that would be cool to get into? Because I've met so many veterinarians through those kind of opportunities and that have helped me along the way. What would your advice be to them if they're feeling like insecure and, they're having that voice in their head that says they're not good enough kind of thing, to get them over that hump to volunteer for some local association or state association?
Stop, get the voices out of your head, come to me, talk to you, and just
Right.
yeah, because the thing is, what you don't realize, that if you do have those insecurities, putting yourself out there and helping others really assist in quelling those insecurities. You are helping, and you are providing knowledge that someone else may not have. And then when you're ready to pass the baton, you're serving as an example for others. I look at Dr. Sandra Fay. She's the new president of the American Veterinary Medical Association. And I remember her first coming up in the Chicago VMA. Dr. Marla Manuskin led the path on being, or was it Dr. Marilyn Mikicek? Dr. Marilyn Mikicek was the first woman veterinary president for the Chicago VMA. Then Dr. Marla Manuskin, who was with Family Pet, who actually passed away of cancer. And then Dr. Susan Ferraro, then Dr. Sandra Fay came through. I forgot Dr. Joan Carlson. Sorry,
You know them all.
I do. But I look at Dr. Sandra Fay now, and she was a rising star. You just saw that, and you saw that within her, and you knew what she was capable of. And I look now at, serving as president of the Chicago Veterinary Medical Association, going on to serve with the Illinois State VMA, and now to be the president of the AVMA and a younger generation, because that is so beautiful. And I think every person that was part of our organization really went on to serve in additional role, whether it was state, or even national, of different organizations. And I think that is a path that allows others to come in. Now, okay, now you can serve as vice president or treasurer. And I think it's also looking at your talents too, Julie. Understanding, are you good at finance? Are you good at mentoring? Are you good at compliance? I look at things as the 3 T's: your time, your treasures, and your talents. We may not have a lot of money to give, but we have talent to give by the boatload. And if you recognize that, your ability to give back, I know when I give of myself, selfishly, I feel better.
It helps with your well-being, right?
It is.
Giving does make you feel better. Doing things for other people does make you feel better. So
it does.
I would agree with that. If you're in a low spot and you're struggling, and these organizations, you don't really need to know anything to volunteer. Like, I'm on the leadership development committee, mostly because I love leadership, but I could have got on that committee regardless. And, there's large animal committees and small animal committees, and, shelter medicine. And there's so many things that you can do with these organizations that not only will help you feel better, but also contribute.
I agree. And I think the more that everyone comes together, I think the better off we are as a profession, in the veterinary profession, the more that you rely on each other. I look at right now, there's a lot of, there's beautiful people leading these associations. I look at Phil Russo, who's also part of NAVTA, who's also part of the New Jersey Veterinary Medical Association. These people really give it their time, and they want to help. They want to make things better for you. So not only do you have tremendous people in the association or that, of that position, but the people that are surrounding them and building them up as well. I'm blown away by the talent and the empathy within the veterinary profession. I really am. It's as I said before, it is my heart, and I think everything that I do always leads back to that profession, because they gave me my start. I really would not be where I am today or be the person that I am today without
Vet Med, huh?
Without Vet Med, without talented people around me and people who just took me under their wing. I didn't know everything. I didn't know, it kind of happenstanced into it as public education director, and then to serve in that capacity. I was very blessed to be in the position that I am, and many of those people are still beautiful friends today, and they will remain as such.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what have I not asked you about any of these things that I maybe should have?
I think we've covered quite a bit. I think, I love this conversation. We were talking earlier, but I love it when there's not just questions that you can freeform and go into lovely conversations about things, because you never know where you're going to go, and the knowledge that I've received today. I love that. I would love for people to participate in the webinar for the Let's Talk About Pet Cancer, November the 6th.
Is that what it's called?
It's called Let's Talk About Pet Cancer. It is free of charge. It's November 2nd at 7 p.m. It is moderated by the one, the only Steve Dale, who
I met him once. I spoke with him once at an event. He's funny. Yeah, he's good.
I love him. He was recently honored at the AVMA for the Media Excellence Award in veterinary medicine, and we kind of grew up together. And
really?
He started about the same time I did, writing a pet column. In 1993, we were just talking about that, and honored that he's going to be part of this, and his knowledge is just incredible. His dog Ethel passed away of cancer, and so it's a personal experience for him as well. But I think I would love as many people to. I would love to not, to have to expand our webinar session if we need to have as many participate in this as possible. And having that open dialogue about pet cancer and talking about all aspects of it, from not only early detection, but what do you do when you hear a diagnosis? What are the different options for you? What about grief? I was having a beautiful conversation with Association of Pet Loss and Bereavement. There's so many people out there that can help you. And cancer, when it does affect you, I know Moose was gone. I had just come home from an event, and I wrapped my arms around his neck, and he had 4 notes here and 2 notes here, 1 note. It was a total of about.
I think it's so big. They're awful.
And they weren't there before. When I left 3 days ago, they were not there. And then he was gone within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Dr. Hank Hall and out of Columbus, Georgia, and Harris County Humane is just incredible. There's just so many people that have surrounded, and again, I think it's such an important discussion, and so important for everyone to hear and to get involved in and participate in. And we would love for everyone to participate.
Yeah, and the 5013C, the Moose's March, is something that people could donate to.
They can.
It helps with clients that can't afford treatment. Is that how it works?
Correct. And also with early detection, we're going to be providing those pre-cancer tests through Volition Veterinary to some shelters in the underserved areas, including Paws Humane Society, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and others, and working directly with the veterinarians on that. I will say next year we have a beautiful grant coming out in 2024, and we're going to, I believe, giving away about $100,000 to area shelters and veterinary clinics within those shelters. Awesome. To assist in pet cancer and treatment and the care of those animals. And so it's going to be larger than life. And next year we're going to be doing a series of walks in commemoration of Moose's passing and his birthday.
Okay, so there'll actually be events that people can participate in.
Events, and and you can go directly to moosesmarch.com. People can also share their stories directly to the website. We're going to be uploading their pictures and scrolling through and seeing those stories and memorializing those pets. And again, talking about hope, and again, through my hope and through my sadness turned into this beautiful organization that I could have never imagined. And I'm again just when I say I'm humbled, I get emotional about it. I'm very humbled.
You should be very proud. It's a big thing to get going.
Yeah, it is. And I'm very honored. I'm very humbled, and I'm very honored to be surrounded by the people that I am, and to be able to present Moose's message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Do you have a dog now?
I do not. I honestly, I've been fostering. It's difficult.
Oh, okay.
I've not been able to get a dog. And I think a lot of people will understand that just a lot of people, some people get a dog immediately.
No, it took me, last time I lost 2 dogs pretty close together. And it took me about a year before I started thinking about getting another one. I was dogless for a year, which isn't, something that I would have thought.
Well, I would say that I could not get a dog, but I've been able to foster, and you're saving lives. And so if anybody has, recently lost an animal or a pet, and they can open their hearts and their homes, and they have the ability to do that, you're saving life. You're not saving but one life, but two, because when you foster, you're opening up space at an animal welfare organization so they can bring in another animal. And right now, with crisis in shelters, they need that desperately. So I have the honor of fostering for different organizations in Georgia and in Florida. And
that's awesome.
That's what I get to do.
Well, congratulations. That's great.
Thank you so much.
Well, is there anything else that we want to say? I don't know how long we've been going here, but I've learned a lot about you, and I'm really excited. I want to get to know more about what you're doing, and
thank you.
Work with some of the people that you're working with. It sounds like a great thing that you're doing.
Thank you so much. It is my
very proud.
Oh, thank you. It's my honor to meet you and to be on your show. And thank you for this opportunity, and for everything that you are doing for the veterinary profession and your life coaching and veterinary life coaching. That's invaluable. So beautiful, beautiful. Congratulations to you on that as well.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you.
You as well.
Everybody is Tricia Montgomery, and you can find her at, is it moosesmarch.com?
That is correct.
And everywhere else, wherever she is, and the webinar. Is the webinar on the moosesmarch.com?
It is on moosesmarch.com. They can find that. They just scan the QR code, and it'll lead them directly to the registration page. And I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook, and people are welcome to contact me if they want to know more.
I'll put all that in the show notes when you send it to me.
Thank you.
All the contact information, so people can find out more about you. Well, I really appreciate you being here. It's been super fun. It went by very fast, but it's been lovely.
Thank you so much, Julie. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, everyone out there. Have a beautiful week, everyone. Bye. Bye, Tricia.
Bye.